Hello everyone, welcome back to one of my videos. Today we are going around Laguna Seca and we are in one of the FIA races. In my previous video we did an FIA race, Nations Cup, around Brands Hatch, representing Great Britain in a French car. Weirdly enough, but it was the fastest car. So today we are at Laguna Seca and yeah, you can see we're in 12 here. Only got 588 points. But let's jump into this race and see how many points we can get this time. Yeah, so looks like we want some big juicy points. A top 3 finish would be lovely. So let's start off with the qualifier then. Everyone's going to be in the Porsche, as it's the mandatory car on this one. Don't really like the Porsche too much, if I'm being brutally honest. It's so oversteery when you try and power out of corners. It's ridiculous. And in this race as well, the mandatory tyres are the sports hard. So we don't get to use racing tyres. We're basically using road legal tyres, and they absolutely suck on cars like these. But never mind, we'll get out there, we'll do our outlap, and yeah, we'll set ourselves up nicely for the qualifying lap. Let's see what we can do. So then, here's attempt number 1 as we cross the line to start our first lap. Getting a slipstream of the guy ahead, which is going to be important to set a good time. Just want to break on that marker, the first one on the right. Tuck yourself nice in and early like this. I like to try and stick in third gear for as long as I can, because like I said, the car's not very stable. Even there in second gear, I've tried to power out and the rear end is just, it's not having it. The tyres are already screaming for death. So this corner here, you want to tuck in nice and tight. You kind of want to hit the apex there in the middle, but I didn't really get that. Wasn't too good on that corner. Again, this one here, I'm not really hitting the curb enough. I'm just on the outside of it, but you want to really attack that curb if you can. It's not going too badly though, as we're starting to catch a guy ahead. And for this corner, you want to brake at the number 3 border, get yourself tucked in, and then power out as much as you can. I stay in third for this, so don't bother changing down to second again. As you can see, this car, it will kill you if you're in the wrong gear and try to accelerate too hard. This one again, brake at border number 2, hit the inside of that nice and early. Stick it in 4th gear, no point going that down into 3rd there. We've got enough speed to keep us going. At this point, we get really tired. We get ready for the famous Corkscrew Corner here. This is probably one of the best corners on a racing track you could ever get. It's ridiculously good. Great fun to go around it as well, as we are now really close behind this guy. It's going to start compromising our lap time. The slipstream effect has worked, but we've just got too close to the guy now, as he outbrakes himself here, and you don't get many attempts to qualify, so I just go up at the inside. This guy goes wide. I don't know what he's doing here. And then to add salt to the wound, he's gone wide again. He's outbraked himself. He's just gone off the track. So that has completely ruined his qualifying time, and it's going to ruin his setup for the next one as well. So he's going to be losing speed all the way down the straight. But let's see what our first time is here.
Got him!
Get in there, boys. First pole position, 3/4 of a second as well. Oh, for f***'s sake. That lasted about 2 seconds. Never mind then, let's just go around again, because there was a lot of mistakes in that first lap, so let's just see if we can improve on this second one. So, first lap we didn't really hit the curb, but on this one we've hit that lovely, so that is a much better exit on that one. So first sector should be up, and it is, so half temp, not much, but again this one, yeah, we go, much better, hitting the curb there, hitting the apex, lovely, and that should make quite a bit of difference. So I'd like to think that 10th we're down, we should have made it up by now. Again, breaking out that cone, or that marker, that 3rd marker there, hitting the inside, powering out, don't bother changing down a gear, all the way up this hill here, which seems like an eternity in cars that are quite slow as this. So hit the apex there, nice, and it gives us a good exit all the way up this hill here, all the way to the famous corkscrew section, as we mentioned on the last lap. Probably one of the best corners in the world and in real racing, especially on this game. It's really good. So here then, you really want to attack the inside of both of these curves. You don't want to go too wide, otherwise you're going to lose the time. And you brake late on that corner as well, you're sent to the shadow realm. You're not coming back, mate. That's it, game over. So 10th up, lose the tail over there a lot. Managed to just hold that in, hit the inside of that corner a lot better than we did on the last lap. So again, we should be up. Again, breaking out that 3rd marker there, tucking in as much as we can. It's just a lot better this lap, I find. It's just a lot smoother. It's the little things that we've done a lot better. So let's go up to the line then, and let's see what we've done.
Oh! Oh my god! Oh! Oh my fucking god! Oh! Bruh.
That is very, very annoying. Right, let's just see what we can do in the race then. Now, before the race starts, we'll just quickly go through who finished in the top three. In first, you're going to have a French guy. And then I'm going to be in second. And then in third is the Italian. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Let's make sure we set our traction control to 1, get ourselves nice and ready so we can have a good start, wait for all the red lights to go out. And there they go, there they are. Let's get this race underway then. Good start, nothing too shabby. The guys behind us had a very similar start to us. I think when you set the traction control to 1, everyone's going to have that, and you know, the start's going to be very similar. So I know the tyres are cold, so I make sure I brake nice and early for this, keep an eye on my mini radar. But the guy in first there hasn't really recognised that his tyres are going to be cold. He's gone to the normal braking point, and he's just gone off. This is what's going to happen when you've got cold tyres. You've just got to make sure you brake a little bit earlier and turn in a little bit earlier as well on every corner on the first lap or so, because the tyres are not going to be warmed up, and you're just going to go wide or understeer or just go off the track. And that's precisely what happened to the guy behind me. So slotting into first place now. So first lap really is just making sure that you don't wipe yourself out, essentially. You know, get your car, you know, learn how your car's going to handle during the race, because now you're in the race, you've got the full tank of fuel, and you've got the tyres to worry about as well. So it normally takes you a lap or two to really get a good feel for the car, and make sure that basically you don't push yourself too hard and that you have a good race. So as we go up the hill here, ready for the corkscrew, I can see the guy's right behind me there. He's got my slipstream all the way up. It just gives me a little nudge, just to let me know that he's there, but it doesn't unsettle me too much, thankfully, and I managed to stay ahead of him. So as first laps go, this is going pretty well. You know, starting in second, jumped up to first due to his error, as we have a big tank slapper there, nearly go off there. Such as the characteristics of this car. As soon as you put the foot down, you can easily spin out. Breaking at the third marker there as the tyres are starting to get nice and warm now, as we're about to enter lap 2. Good exit out of there, seems to be going well. The Frenchman, not quite sure what's happened to him. He's in third place now, as we've got the Italian behind us right now, so make sure traction control's on 0. First lap 147.8, nothing spectacular this first race. Here I am just trying to go defensive, but I brake a little bit too early, if I'm honest. Should have done a little bit better than that. But thankfully we've got the inside line now, we can keep it. Just keeping an eye on my radar there. Going to go defensive, make sure he doesn't overtake me. But he just goes for it anyways. And he just, well, yeah, there you go. He just pushes me out of the way, does not care. And this Frenchman's here, so I didn't see him. I've just tapped him slightly as I try and get back on the racing line. I don't know why he was trying to overtake me on the outside there. Ridiculous. That's never going to work. And he's clearly quite angry about it. So I'm going to have to make sure that I keep an eye out for him, just in case he tries to do anything stupid in the next couple of laps. But for now, we're in second place, just behind the guy in first here. It's not a terrible situation to be in. Now, I was thinking to myself as I was coming up this hill here, whether I should just get some revenge and try and push him wide. But one, I was worried I might get a penalty. And two, say if I do go for it, and I don't take him out, and I just drop back, I will look like a right pillock. So I just decided to stay behind on this one. I'm just going to follow him, just follow his racing line, see what he does, see if we can just brake a little bit later, or you know, accelerate a bit quicker out of a corner, see where we can make up some time. But overall, first 2 laps not gone too bad. Bit of pushing and shoving, but nothing too drastic. This guy goes really wide there, just manages to keep it on, and we set ourselves up for the start of lap number 3, get him right behind him there. So then, Mr. Italian, what are we going to do here then? So he sticks to the inside. I'm going to go on the outside here, as I didn't really want to go into the back of him. I'm just going to watch. So then I'm going to switch to left here, try and outbrake him, but it's not quite worked, so I'll just stick to the inside here, make sure I can get a good exit on him. Yeah, he just almost squeezed me out there. We've still got the Frenchman tightly behind us, so let's just make sure we follow this guy into the next couple of corners, see if he makes any sort of errors. I hit the inside of that corner quite well, just keeping it in 3rd gear. The Italian ahead seems pretty quick. He doesn't seem to be doing anything drastic. As the Frenchman taps us again, clearly quite angry from the incident on the last lap. So let's just see what he's going to do on the next corner here.
Bye, have a great time.
I think the Frenchman clearly needs some lessons in how to brake, because that was terrible. He's completely ruined his race now. He's dropped down to 6th. I feel like he was trying to take me out there, but yeah, just completely mistimed it. And yeah, there you go. That's karma for you. But never mind. He's out of the race now, so it looks like it's just going to be between me and this guy first. So this is going to be a tight race. I have lost a bit of time though, as I was a bit cautious. Keep an eye on that Frenchman, making sure he doesn't take me out. Thankfully he doesn't. As we go through the corkscrew again, we're just going to spend the next couple of laps sticking behind this guy and seeing if we can force him into any errors really. As I don't really want to overtake just quite yet. I just want to keep following him and yeah, just see where the race takes us. So nothing really happened on that lap, so I'm just going to skip ahead to this next part here as I make a big boy error on the corkscrew, which is quite a common error. So I brake nice and early here, go over the left cone here, but as I slow it down, I've gone over the curbs quite badly there, which is going to give me a ½ second penalty. Now in this game, you don't just slow down and take the penalty, there's a certain area you've got to take the penalty from. So we're going to have to get to that point. It's going to slow us down for ½ second and then we can go again. Anything over ½ second can be really damaging to your race. Thankfully I've only got a ½ second penalty there, so I've really got to make sure I stick close to this guy for when the penalty point comes up. We'll serve our penalty and then we'll just have to go through there. So as we enter the start of lap 5 now, we just go purple, 1:39.4, but then the Spaniard behind us does a 1:39.3, so replying straight away here. I was quite tempted to, try and jump ahead just to minimalise the penalty that I've got. So when I do serve it, I'm in front of him, but couldn't quite get the move done there. The Italian ahead racing quite well, so again, let's just make sure we stick with him. So as you can see there by the yellow writing on the screen, that the penalty point is going to come up any second now. So you'll see the game automatically brakes for me, slows me down, takes control of the car for ½ second. And then lets me go again, so here we go, and there it is. So not much, but in racing ½ second really can make a difference. So if I was a second behind him, that ½ second penalty could have taken me out of his slipstream, and I could be losing a lot of time because I won't be getting any slipstream. And yeah, on this game it's quite powerful, so it could be worth about 3-4 attempts on this track, so it's a good thing we've managed to stay within it. If anything, it just brings the Spaniard into it now, because I reckon he's just about getting my slipstream, so it could turn out to be a three-way fight for the lead. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you should take that corner. There you go, I didn't cut the curb at all, didn't run over it, kept within the white lines, and yeah, that's exactly how you should take it. Now the next couple of laps, nothing drastic happens, so I'm just going to skip the next lap or two. So we return back on lap 7, going up the hill. Now you can kind of guess why I've got us back up the hill, because as you can tell, I'm going to do the same error again, which is really annoying. I think I was just concentrating so much on what the Italian guy was doing ahead, I kind of forgot the racing line in a way, and there you go, bang, another ½ second penalty. So we're going to have to deal with that again, as I nearly wiped myself out. That's happened 2 or 3 times now, so I'll need to be cautious of that. As the Italian goes wide again, he's also done that 2 or 3 times, so it's not the cleanest race, I have to say. We're not certainly not being faultless, but I'm managing to keep this guy ahead, thankfully. So even though I am getting these penalties through no one else's fault but my own, but we are managing to stick with him to make sure that we can, yeah, give this guy a good race and make sure that we try and finish on the podium. So let's serve this penalty once more. There we go. We are nice and close to the guy in front, so it shouldn't make too much of an effect, as he has a little lag spike there, which put me off slightly, and I nearly go off the track there. This car around this track, honestly, it was a nightmare. I'm keeping it quite cool, calm and collective at the moment, but as the race goes on, the tyres start to wear out quite drastically, and it's this thing is just so tail happy, it's unbelievable. So it really is a test of your skill, determination to keep this thing planted and on the road when you're trying to race them with quite high tyre wear, because yeah, they're just they've got a big ass and they just want to waggle it around everywhere, and it causes you all sorts of issues. But yeah, took that corner quite well there, much better than the Italian. He seems to be struggling through this section here as well. At the braking points, I seem to make up quite a bit of time here, powering out, which gave me quite a good exit and lots of speed on the straight, but never quite enough to make some sort of move on him as we enter lap 9 now. So just 6 laps to go. It's getting quite tight now. This race you have no pit stops. You've got enough fuel. You could pit if you wanted to, but the tyre wear, you don't lose too much time during the race. I'd say after about 10 laps you're probably about a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds slower, but a pit stop on this track is going to cause you a bigger time penalty than that, essentially, then, rather than two seconds a lap or whatnot. But yeah, Italian again, a bit shaky. I feel like I'm definitely more stable going through these corners here, and I can get right on the back of him here. He brakes a little bit early and I go to the back of him, so I just let go of the throttle here just to let him go again, because I don't want to win the race by just bumping into the back of him, because it's not exactly sportsmanship like, is it? So that's not how we want to win. We want to win by being a fast driver and overtaking him legitimately, not by just pushing him off. So up the corkscrew once more, round 9 of 14 with the corkscrew. Let's see how we take it here. Just brake as it starts to go slightly uphill and then downhill again. You can cut this corner a little bit, just got to make sure you don't cut this one here, so you can tack that as much as you want, just don't go all 4 wheels over the white line. I stick to the inside on this corner here. The Italian likes to go quite wide. I was just a bit shaky coming out of there. Brake a little bit earlier than the Italian here, make sure I can get nice and tucked in on that corner, give me a better exit. Throughout this race I was wondering if anyone was going to pit, but I don't think they did. I think everyone stayed out. I think everyone knew the strategy on this one. The races in here, I think this is a top tier race. I don't know whether it's 1, 2 or 3. My assumption is tier 3 at the moment, because I've got around 53,000 points, so I imagine that's going to be tier 3 and not tier 2. So some very good races in here, but not quite 1 or 2. I've been in tier 2 before. I'd like to get back there again. Maybe fingers crossed we have a good result here. We can get ourselves back up there. Obviously the higher the tier, the more points you're going to get by the end of the race. I think mentioned earlier on in this video, I think the winner gets around 250 points around this track, which is really good. It's not a personal best. I think my personal best is around 266. I got second in Monza. I don't know if that was a split 2 or not, but it was slightly more points than that. As we are getting very close to this Italian now. We've basically been with him the whole race, to be honest. We've been really close. It's been a good race so far. If I had overtaken him, I don't think I would have pulled away, because it's a lot easier to, I find it a lot easier to follow someone during the race than just being out there by myself, because if you're out there by yourself, you can easily forget your braking point, whereas if you just follow the guy ahead, you can almost imitate what he does, essentially. So it's not as bad. As you can see the tyre wear now, as we go through the second sector, almost 8 tenths down on our best lap. So it's starting to show you now how bad the tyre wear is starting to get as we're on lap 10. Just about to finish lap 10, last corner of lap 10 here. Here we go. He brakes very late. I go to my normal braking point and I just hit him on the inside there. But again, want to win this cleanly, so I'm just going to let him go again. But all this fighting really has called the Spaniard to come into this race now. So at one point he was over 2 seconds behind, and he's done really well to catch up with us. But yes, he's now within that 2.5 window, so he's going to be getting that slipstream. As the Italian goes wide again, I think about a move on the inside, but no, just let him go. There's no point fighting for it this early. Still got 4 laps to go, so the race is far from over as we hit the inside of that corner nicely. We stick behind here. So Spaniard about half a second behind us now, almost 6 tenths, so he's made a slight error there. We'll stick with the Italian in front of us, getting really close now. Do I decide to go for the attack here? I'm very close. Look to the left. Am I going to go for it? Yes. Just brake a little bit later than him, and I managed to get the move done. So there we go. So we are now back up into first place, but can we keep it? That's the question. Now we've got no marker to go by. We've only got ourselves really to judge when to brake, when to accelerate, when to turn as we go up the corkscrew for round 11, going around the Laguna Seca. Here we go. We'll probably brake a little bit earlier than what I'm used to. He's right behind me there. I was just a bit cautious of him knocking into the side of me and then knocking me off the track, which is not what I wanted. There you go, nearly 9 tenths now, so every lap that goes by, it's just getting myself out of another big tank slapper on the back there. Amazed that up to this point I haven't really made any glaring errors. We managed to stick it down really well, so here we go for this corner again to set ourselves up nicely for lap 12. So going down the straight, you can see the Italian and the Spaniard behind me there. They'll be getting the slipstream. So here's the start of lap 12. 140.6, so 1.2 seconds off the fastest lap. We will not be going purple anytime soon unless one of us pits. A brake quite early, and the Italian just saw the tiniest gaps and he just thought, no, I'm going to have that. And yeah, dive bombed me on the inside, and I want to say it was a good move, but kind of forced his way through me. He kind of did it early on in the race, if you remember. I think it was lap 2. He kind of just forced his way past me. Wasn't a great move, but he just found the tiniest of gaps. Ayrton Senna would be proud of that one, and he got it done. Now I've got to be aware of the Spaniard behind me, because he can go for a move as well. So I don't want to go from first and then a lap later drop down to third, and that would not be great, as the Italian goes slightly wide here. So that's not too bad. Managed to caught up with the back of the Italian again, dropping the Spaniard ever so slightly. Brake a little bit earlier because I'm worried of my tyres now. Make sure I get a good exit coming up the hill. There we go, nice gear change there. Up into 4th gear as we go for round 12 of the corkscrew. Brake at the same time as him. Let's just see what he does. I attack that curb a little bit more, and he attacks that curb a bit more than me. So we both have different racing lines going through here. 1.6 seconds off now. So the tyres really have died off there. He nearly goes off again. This section's awful in these cars. They really do want to kill you come through it. You really have to be gentle on the throttle and how hard you turn the steering wheel. As again, we are getting to the end of lap 12 and setting ourselves up for lap 13. There's a lot of gravel on the end of that corner, so you don't want to go too wide or outbrake yourself, because otherwise you're going to be stuck in that for a while and it will probably just ruin your race up to this point. So a 141.4 then, 2 seconds off the pace, so we really are starting to slow down now. The fighting is not helping either as we go into this corner here. Very similar racing lines there, not too much that I'm going to do there. I feel like he powers out just a little bit better than I do coming out like that, but it makes him just go ever so slightly wider. Probably doesn't give him the best setup for this corner, so I felt like I was better through here as it hits the sand there again, nearly going off. Every time I watched this Italian guy through every corner, I was wondering, is he going to go off at some point? Because he was flirting with the sand, how close he was getting with it. I just could not believe that he didn't make a serious error. He just kept it on, so it's a fair play to him. As again we go through this middle section here, Spaniard 7 tenths behind. He's just dropping off ever so slightly as me and the Italian are starting to pull away. He goes a little bit wide there coming up the hill, so it gives me a good chance. He goes defensive straight away, so I knew his intention, so I wasn't going to go on the attack on this one. So again, braking at the same point. He attacks the curb more than I do on that one. Then that there, not quite sure how he didn't get a penalty for that, because to me it looked like he had all 4 wheels over the white line there, but he somehow has got away with that. But never mind. Lap 13 and 14, we don't want to win this race through a penalty, we want to win it legitimately. There you go again, like he just touches the sand and manages to get back on the track. So very good. He should consider a career in rally, because he's quite good. As I try and put the power down there to overtake him, and then I nearly take myself out there. So here we go, start of lap 14 out of 40. It's the last one. 141.1, 1.7 seconds off the pace. So here we go. What we're going to do, I've gone on the inside here. I'm going to have to brake slightly later. He's braked later as well, but he's done it very well. So just tap him ever so slightly. And yeah, I didn't really have anywhere to go. I was on the inside. He kind of pincered me, so I couldn't do too much. So he's gone on the inside now. So he's got his back. And then the Spaniard hits me. I go into him. He goes off the track. The Spaniard hits me again. I'm still in first, but now the Spaniard's overtaken me. So he's hit me. I've hit the Italian. He's gone off. And then I've hit him again through the Spaniard. And the Italian, who was in first, has been dropped all the way down to third. Now, at this point here, I'm starting to think myself, this Italian could just think it's all my fault and try and hit me off, but he doesn't, which is good. So now, for, you know, essentially 13 laps of this race, I've been fighting this Italian. And then this Spaniard comes along, thinks I'm having none of that, takes him out. And then it's a battle between me and the Spaniard. First place, as he goes wide here, so I'm going to go on the inside. He tries to cut me off, but it's a bit too late. So I'm on the inside coming up to the corkscrew. We're going to make sure we don't get a penalty, so we brake nice and late here. Just gives me a little nudge. I go defensive, make sure he doesn't overtake me on the inside. There we go. Have a good exit coming through here. I try to stick to the left-hand side to make sure there's no sort of undercut that he can perform on me there by going on the outside and then the inside, but he doesn't. So through these last couple of corners then, we've just got to go defensive. Look, the Spaniard really is trying to get past me now. Again, at this point, last corner, I think he could just shove into the back of me and let me go, but he goes on the outside. I stick on the inside, make sure I go defensive there. Really slow coming out of there, probably a bit too slow. You can see on my radar, the Spaniard is right behind me now as we come across the finish line. Are we going to get P1? I think we're just about to get it. There we go. Oh, there you go, P1. Fantastic. I have not won an FIA race in absolutely ages, so I'm absolutely thrilled with that one. A 10th. Feel sorry for the Italian there, because we were having a good race, and then the Spaniard just come along. Maybe he's a part of R4M and just destroys essentially me and the Italian, but somehow I managed to get through it. But yeah, absolutely mental race that one. Really, in the end, it was really tight. Lots of tyre conservation and you know, just looking after your tyres, making sure that you get to the end of the race to push. But yeah, I have to say, one hell of a race. I feel sorry for the Italian, but I am so happy I won that one. I jumped for joy when I won this race, because it just felt like a really hard race to win. But thankfully we came across the line, we got P1. We're only going to get a fat amount of points for this race. Get in there. So there we have it then, P1, fantastic race, really enjoyed it. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you want to see more, please like and subscribe, and yeah, see you on the next one.